Hey you, it's Jess here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing an extra plan with me with some rules. As the title suggests, I am using a Scribble Prints Co rack bag. They've been sending out rack bags with matching kit pages, usually just 4 or 5 of them. And I just showed you the pages that I had, and I'm just going to be only planning with these except for one sidebar sticker that I brought in, as well as character stickers, and that's it. Those are the rules. And we're going to be using up this whole rack bag, which is awesome, but I'll also show you how you can have, I mean, it has a lot of white space, but you still get a good spread out of just using a rack bag. So it's a good affordable way to use up, you'll randomly get these for free in Scribble Prints Co orders, and you'll get different pages. You might not get the same ones as I have here, but if you're interested in future ones, I can do more with different rack bags in the future. Just let me know. Yeah, this one I have the label sampler, the bottom washi, the deco page, and the full heart checklist. So that's what I'm using for this spread, and hope you enjoy it. I'm also going to be answering some Australian assumptions that I asked for. So what you guys assume about Australians and Australian culture. I'm just going to be answering those. I will be packing in a few of them together because, as you might guess, there was a lot to do with this very first one. So we're going to get it out of the way. You guys have a ton of spiders and creepy bugs. Also, some bug animal has tried to kill you. Having super scary spiders in your house is a common occurrence. Got giant spiders and all creatures want to hurt or eat you. I think there's some more. Freaking scary bugs everywhere. Giant spiders are everywhere. There are spiders and deadly creatures everywhere you turn. So, I'm gonna sort of preface this whole assumptions with Australian in terms of I am a bad Australian. Okay, I'm not a typical Australian. I grew up with a lot of immigrant parents, grandparents, and I never really bought into the Australian culture, the lucky country stuff. So I'm not going to be 100% on some of these assumptions, but I'll tell you what I think from what I have noticed, and my friends and things like that. And also being in Adelaide, South Australia versus the more widely known East Coast. So, though with that said, spiders and creepy bugs, yes, they are everywhere. Less likely in the cities, like if you're in a hotel, you're not really going to come across the creepy crawlies, although one time a hotel in Melbourne had a cockroach, and that was really funny. It was like upside down dead in the bathroom when we woke up. But in terms of the city, if you go to Australia and you're in a hotel, you're probably not going to see a giant spider. But as soon as you get out to the parks or suburbs, even like motels and hotels that are not in the cities, you're probably gonna start finding them. Yeah. My last house that I lived in was across the street from a reserve, which is like a big park, and it had like a football oval and stuff, and big trees. And so our house was always filled with spiders that probably came across from the park. And like a couple of times we had huntsman spiders that were as big as my partner Locke's hands, and he has really big man hands. They were huge. And then our post box, our mailbox, was always filled with redback spiders, which are a type of black widow. No, they're so disgusting, and they're pretty dangerous. Like it's a deadly venom that they have, or poison. But no one really dies from them anymore because every ambulance, has, and every doctor has the antidote for that. Yeah, there are spiders everywhere. especially in your car as well. Like one time when I was a kid, we were driving along, and I put the the flap you have like the at the top to like put shade on the top of the window, and I unfolded it, and there was a huge spider under it. So there's plenty of spiders. Also, other bugs haven't been as big an issue. There's cockroaches. There's also all the normal like little bugs like centipedes and well, we had a centipede one and that was scary. But millipedes, they're fine. And ants and all sorts. But yeah, the spiders are really the big one. Luckily in my state, I believe in another state, maybe New South Wales, they have like spiders that live in holes in your lawn, and then they come out and they like kill birds and shit. I don't know. They're like bird spiders or something. Anyway, yes, there are lots of creepy crawlies. It's big spiders in Australia. So far being in Finland, I've seen every spider I've seen has been tiny. Like they'll have long legs, like daddy long legs, which I'm fine with, but their bodies are tiny. So it's very, very different to the really big, fat huntsman babies. So, and in terms of other creatures that are scary and can kill you, I suppose there are a lot of venomous snakes, like the little brown snakes. They're just like normal brown snakes, but if they bite you, it could be really dangerous. But I feel like not many people die from these things anymore because we have good response medically to them. And then, of course, I guess, the whole thing about dingoes, but there's actually dingo fences. I know there's one in my state, there's a dingo fence, and like across the whole way, so they can't actually get into more populated areas. And then just normal animals, like they're still wild animals, even if they look really cute. Like kangaroos can kick you and like do a lot of damage. And like if you run kangaroos over, they can really damage your car as well and cause big accidents. Like kangaroos can get over 6 foot, so they're actually pretty big. And there's also like wombats, really cute, but they can also attack you. Koalas can attack you, and they get really big too, actually. And then there's the mythical ones like drop bears, which you might hear about. We like to scare people with their animals, but drop bears, I guess, are like mythological evil koalas, and when you're walking in the woods, they might drop down on you and kill you. Drop bears, they're the best. But there's also really cute animals too, like, possums and stuff. Well, until you hear them banging each other in your roof, then maybe not. But our possums are really, really cute. You should look up Australian possums. They're adorable. So yeah, while there are lots of wild animals, and they're not like cougars or anything like that, but they're still dangerous in their own sense. The one that you'll mainly be plagued by is really spiders. And there's not really anyone who gets hurt a lot by them. And then also the ocean, there's lots of sharks, but I don't mess with the ocean. I leave it be. Also blue ring jellyfish on my state. Yeah, don't touch them. That's bad. They have really pretty blue rings on them, but they're super deadly. So yeah, stay away. But that's Australia for you. It is true. There's lots and lots of creatures that you're told to steer clear of. Australians love Vegemite. This is also another big one. And you've looked at my Insta stories? Yeah, I love Vegemite. We all adore our Vegemite. I mean, I even know the Vegemite theme song off by heart. Which I think Amanda Palmer tried to cover. I don't know why she did, but it's called Happy Little Vegemites. We're happy little Vegemites, as bright as bright can be. We all enjoy our Vegemite for breakfast, lunch, and tea. Our mommies say we're growing stronger every single week because we love our Vegemite. We all adore our Vegemite. It puts a rose in every cheek. And also, if you're... Sorry, that was a tangent, but yeah, we love Vegemite, and they tried to make like a new version. It was called like Vegemite 2.0 or something. Oh my god, So stupid. No one liked it. And then there's cheesy mite as well, with cheese in the Vegemite. No one likes that either. Just classic Vegemite. And I know people say it's like Marmite, but it's not the same at all to Marmite. I mean, it's the same. Like, they're both fermented yeast. But Vegemite is actually thicker. It's like an actual spread. Like, it's more like butter, I guess, or margarine. Whereas Marmite seems to be more liquidy. And I much prefer Vegemite. I got a couple saying the culture is a lot more casual and laid back than most countries. And I would say, yeah, probably. Everyone's sort of like pretty nice, pretty laid back. I mean, I guess so to an extent. There are definitely Australians who are not nice. It's a typically very racist country. So while we try to be laid back, there's also a lot of people who love authority and dubbing on people and calling the cops and stuff. So there's sort of similar issues out there anyway, probably as Anglophile led country. We try to be laid back larrikins, but I feel like it's not always so. I don't know. Just the same as many assumptions. Not everyone is that generalized the same. But nice, cheerful people. I suppose overall, yes, if you're fitting in, basically. But overall, sure. So we also have from a Sydney sider, SA is boring. This depends on what you're interested in doing. I feel like at SA or South Australia is yeah, it's kind of historically known as more boring, but I feel like it's really changing. Like, there's so much good food, and of course we have March Madness, which in our terms means there's the Fringe on, like the International Fringe show, which is like weeks of endless cabarets and shows and fairs, and there's also the Adelaide Cabaret on at almost the same time, and the Adelaide Festival season. Like, like spring is a huge, busy season. There's tons of food. There's really great natural things to go see, like the Flinders Ranges and all of the peninsulas and bays. And I don't know. I don't think SA is boring, but it depends on what you're interested in versus what other cities might provide. This one's going to be controversial, but this one was Steve Irwin as a national hero. And I don't know if this is just me. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find anything because Google just talks about his death when you try to Google him. But I found out about Steve Irwin from Americans online. I didn't know who he was up until like a few years before his death. I think he really hit more national TV here. I feel like he was more popular in the States before he was in Australia. Maybe that's different if you grew up in Queensland where his zoo is. But I didn't even know about Steve Irwin until, I don't know, 2003, 2004 or something. I had no clue who he was. And when people were like, oh, what about the thing about the crocodile guy? I'm like, you mean Crocodile Dundee? Who's the crocodile hunter? I didn't know who he was. So I guess he's a national hero, but I've never really thought much about him. I kind of thought he harassed the animals, so I wasn't really a fan of him. And I know that would be highly... I'm sorry if that offends you, but I didn't really like what he did at all, honestly. That's just me. I had a few ones saying, are you a surfer? You know how to surf? Australians... most people know how to surf. And here's another one, I don't know how to surf. Like, I think a lot of Australians do know how to surf, and we definitely all know how to swim. It was actually part of, like, school curriculum for me. In primary school, we had to learn to swim, and you usually got certificates for learning to swim. Everyone learns to swim Probably because there's so much danger of drowning, and we all live on the coast with the beaches, and a lot of people have pools, so everyone knows how to swim. And I think a lot of people do know how to surf, but I never learned to surf. But there's a big surfing culture, obviously. Australians don't like New Zealanders. I don't think we don't like them. Obviously, there are people who don't, but I feel like I think there's a lot of more interstate hatred versus New Zealanders. New Zealanders are sort of the joke, as in, I think in England they have the same with Wales, and that New Zealanders are the people who like, make love with sheep. That's a joke. And I think Welsh people have that same thing against them. I don't know if America has that at all. I don't know. New Zealand is sort of, I guess it's like a rival country, I guess. I have been to New Zealand, but yeah, it's not like you don't like them. It's just fun to rag on them, make fun of them, and vice versa, I assume. It's also the same in the States. As someone said, as a Sydney sider, SA is boring. But then Sydney is considered a cold wallet. Melbourne, everyone hates Melbourne, and Melbourne hates everyone else. And Queensland is full of crazies, and it's a whole thing. And I feel like most countries have that though. Shanti asked, "You've petted a kangaroo?" I don't think I've pet a kangaroo. I definitely have pet a wallaby, I think, or even a baby kangaroo, but and a koala. But I don't think you tend to pet kangaroos because they're actually a bit more dangerous. They can actually kill you. Yes, even kangaroos. Wombats can kill you. They can be dangerous just because they're like really big and strong. But I definitely pet a wallaby, and they're a bit more, little babies. um, and she asks also, you like Vegemite? What is Vegemite? And I kind of said it before, but Vegemite is fermented yeast. It's really salty and it's black, and it's it's an acquired taste, but it's super duper yum. And then I got the impression that Australians are a lot healthier eaters than Americans. I think overall that's probably right, just because we have a lot of fresh produce. Like Australia could pretty much grow anything. So we have a lot of fresh produce to choose from, and there's a lot more salad and fruit, and but there's also all the fast food, not as much as America for sure. Like we have McDonald's, Burger King, or in SA it's called, or in Australia it's called Hungry Jack's. The Pizza Hut, Domino's, KFC. I feel like there's not too many more outside of that. That's fast food. So yeah, I think there's a lot less junk food, but everyone's still not as healthy as it could be. You hate when people think your accent is British. Now this is a bit weird to me. I have a weird thing about my accent in Australia. Like from Australians, they ask me where I'm from. They ask me, am I American? Am I Irish? Am I British? And I'm like, no, I'm Australian. Grew up in Australia. This is a really big pet peeve of mine because I get asked all the time. If I meet a new person, they ask me where I'm from. I apparently don't talk like a normal Australian. I think it's also different that in South Australia we have what's called, quotation marks, cultivated Australian, versus the broad Australian that you usually hear. There's different accents. So the broad Australian is like Steve Irwin. And then you have like the Perth Australian accent, which is like Heath Ledger and Chris Hemsworth. And then South Australia is a bit more Britishy, I guess. So I don't hate when people think I'm British. Also because my dad, my granddad was from Northern Ireland. So I know there was always sort of like British Irish influences in my accent, I think. And then, so Adelaide, we say things like dance, pasta, things like that, instead of most East Coast will say dance, so it's a bit different that way. We have a bit more posh accent. Sounds a bit different, that assumption, because I myself have issues about my accent in Australia. You secretly hate the Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi chant. I mean, I don't really care about the chant, honestly, and I feel like it doesn't happen that often. It's more just like, and it comes out of sport, I guess. It is a strange chant, but it's kind of fun, like, to do it sort of ironically rather than full-fledged Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. I think I get it mostly from like Kath and Kim. I don't like hate it, but I don't really care about it. I'm not extremely patriotic myself, so. The thought of having snow at Christmas is weird to you. And, I mean, I guess so. It's not because, like, we always had, like, fake snow that you could spray on stuff, and all the media was still snowy Christmases, and I still listened to White Christmas. I still had very much a British, because of the strong English-British presence in Australian culture, still very much had that, like, British Christmas. And then also with my sort of immigrant, more family from Europe. So I never really did the Australian Christmas where you have like prawns and stuff, seafood and things. We still had a pretty traditional Christmas for the Northern Hemisphere. So having snow on Christmas wasn't weird to me. It's something I always really wanted, actually. And I have had it the past couple of years, and it's been so good. I love it. But yeah, usually it's the height of summer in Christmas in Australia. Then we have annoyed when we say shepherd's pie when there's beef in it. Yes, stop calling it shepherd's pie if it's beef. Where's a shepherd gonna get beef from? Because they herd sheep, my friends. Shepherd's pie has lamb in it because that's what a shepherd would have on hand, his sheep. If you are making a beef pie, it's called a cottage pie, because a cottage is more likely to have a cow or access to beef, right? So please, cottage pie, please stop it. Please stop. Stop doing this. You eat kangaroo regularly. I don't know if I ate it regularly, but it is like you can buy it in the grocery store next to the beef, this kangaroo. I still don't think it's eaten that regularly, but like it's not in fast food chains or anything like that. But there's kangaroo easy to buy, and it's a lot like venison, deer. It's very gamey red meat. It's pretty delicious. You cook it really, really fast. It doesn't need to cook too much. So yeah, that's that. Now this video is probably getting too long, and I probably ran out of footage, so I'm gonna try and finish up. So let me try to find if there's anything else. The last one is hate Americanized English and love correcting Americans about it. Most definitely. Especially when it comes to like herb. Like there's an H in there, my peeps. It's herb, not herb. And it's just a funny thing. It's like there's also Australian English, which is slightly different. It might be kind of more in the middle of American and British, but we still say like mum and everything. I, for one, don't care about Americanized English. I mean, I deal with it, but it just looks wrong to me. Especially ER instead of RE. It looks strange. And I love putting U's in things, so. But that is all the assumptions I had about Australia and Australians. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this plan with me. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!